we needed systems. And at first, when we first started, we didn't have that. We actually just tried to, okay, let's just do it. And that just led to burnout. And I feel like that's the same way a lot of people approach this on when hiring a team is, let's just do it. And they go put a one-page application, and then they don't really vet. They don't take the time to vet the talent that is coming in. And then just like you said, now you're wasting time. You're wasting resources. Because
if you see Apple as a phone, it's a great, incredible product. Samsung is too incredible product. There are other companies as well. But how Apple is doing its marketing is a whole different game. That's why we love Apple. We want to have Apple, right? Or if you go to Tesla became like such a great product in itself because of its marketing and the personal brand that founder is having. So again, the marketing is changing its way towards like more of a personal branding and then company branding.
It could be perspective, or it could just be the universe speaking to me. So all I know is that next I'm gonna start listening to a song that says, "You got a successful business," all that stuff.
Okay,
manifesting.
Sounds good. Okay, clip that out. Anyways, I think we're ready to get started with the show today. We have a special guest all the way from the other part of the world. We appreciate him for staying away to make this show happen. So I think we're ready. Fonzie, are you ready? I don't see you ready.
I'm ready.
Man. Okay,
I'm ready.
Good? Okay, here we go.
We've got some fresh.
Hey, I'm Luis.
And this is Luis.
And welcome to the Content is Profit podcast.
In here, you're gonna get the insights, accountability, and drive to create consistently and increase revenue.
You'll hear from top entrepreneurs, creators, and anything and everything you need to know about content. All this while having a good time.
The goal of this podcast is simple: educate, entertain, and turn your content into profit. Let's go. I did a little switcheroo in there. I don't know if you noticed.
No, it's okay. Hey guys, if you are enjoying this show, go ahead and follow in your favorite podcasting platform. We are up from the month before. Thank you so much for everybody supporting the show. I'm extremely proud of that. All right.
Man, yeah, we got a good band of followers, and I appreciate you guys. Is today's guest help you move one step closer towards your goal? Please don't forget to share this episode, and don't forget to leave a 5-star review.
So today we are back with another amazing entrepreneur that's on the other side of the world.
That's right. He's in Israel right now. How epic is that? He's a founder of Insadia.com and the host of SaaS Unlocked.
He's also known from bringing ideas to reality through his tenacity and action taking. Just the type of person we love talking to.
Honestly, can't wait to, hopefully by osmosis, by having him here in the podcast, we can get a little bit more of that.
Oh, yeah.
Please welcome the one and only Pratik Thakker.
Oh my God, this is the best welcome ever in any podcast I've ever been to. So thanks for having me, guys. Loving it.
Thanks for the kind words, Pratik. How you doing, man?
Oh my God, I love your energy. I love the way you are creating content, and you are like kind of dynamic duo, which are like kind of killing it on podcasts. So wow, amazing to be here, man.
Thank you. Pratik, I want to start with the wall that's behind you. We kind of chatted a little bit about this right before jumping on the podcast, but we were like, stop, no more. Let's share a little bit about this on the podcast. For those that are only listening, behind him, there's a wall with a lot of writing. You cannot really read what's behind it, but he read it for us. And we were like, okay, we're going to have to talk about this. So what does it say? And why do you have that behind you?
So firstly, the office is under renovation, so you might see the half part and still it's like going on. So I was just wanted to be authentic, so I didn't have any virtual background, but I'll read to you what does it mean. Never stop learning, good vibes only. You are willful, wild and free. Never stop learning, good vibes. Smile often, love, create your sunshine, be kind, dream big, smile often. And that's repetitive of all the sentences. Why, when you're on an entrepreneur journey, it's a roller coaster and you have your ups and your downs. You need to make sure that you're enjoying the journey, and these affirmations are so powerful that helps you kind of keep going. So you need to find your own motivation that actually helps you in the journey. So For me, this works very well. And I have one more thing next to my desk. Is like something that you like, dream of, and that is something like law of attraction.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I just made a note here. It's like I'm looking at a white wall that we struggled for like months to try to figure out. Well, I've struggled for like months to try to figure out like what to put in there, and that's going to become our new affirmation wall. And I love that, right? Because you have personally, I have it on my phone, and it's like a note that I open and I go through it, right? But I think like it has to be top of mind. It has to be like in front of you. I've felt that at least in my specific case, and I love this, right? I'm obsessed with backgrounds. Every time I jump on a call, I'm like, oh, let me see your background, right? And when I saw that was like super interesting and super unique. And I think that's super cool. So Fonzie, that wall could be the affirmation wall, and we can make that happen and follow Pratik's example. I love it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, man.
Pratik, I want to.
I'm loving your painting too with content is profit. So it's good.
Yeah, the only difference we didn't do that. Somebody way cooler than us painted that and sent it to us. We're so thankful. Pratik, I want to start by delivering just what we call golden boulder from the very beginning to the people, so they're hooked and they want to learn a little bit more, right? You're the founder of Insidia, right? It says outsourcing reimagined. You help connect, I'm guessing, entrepreneurs with their next high quality freelancers, or correct me if I'm wrong, right? Like incredible talent so they can help them build amazing businesses. And I'm so curious on what is it in your own view, what makes an incredible team member? What is something that every business should be looking on that person that they're going to hire next?
So firstly, I'll go to the backstory of Insidia and why actually we created this. It's out of my personal pain point. So firstly, the name Insidia itself has a combination of inside and idea, right?
Yep.
So while I was growing up, I started my first business when I was 12 or 13 something. And you always have this ideas in your brain, and that sometimes you don't have like courage to pursue and take action, right? So there are a lot of ideas that we kill it within ourselves. So again, this specific name came because I wanted to bring my ideas to reality first, and of course help the world to bring their ideas into reality. Now, how do I do it? I was still figuring out. It took me 6-7 years to figure out what actually I want to do with this brand that I took. And by the way, this brand and domain name was purchased 8 years ago for $750 in auction, in GoReady auction. It was a premium domain. So I really worked hard to get it and negotiated. It was costing $5,000, and he actually negotiated. I'm like, Indian, kind of good at negotiating.
Yeah.
So he finally gave it to me for $750. So I'll go a bit backstory to place where I was born and brought up, which is India. And in India, like back 10 years, there were not a lot of local jobs available. There were, but not into tech sector. It was still like, a struggling market. People were like, MBAs, but still like, making very low income. And I was dating a Jewish girl from India. She is also have roots in Israel. So she was working in a Halal Airlines, and we decided to move to Israel because she inspired me to seek opportunity in Israel because of the tech, innovation, entrepreneurial culture that Israel possesses. So we came here, but the price that I paid to actually leave everything behind and come to Israel was huge. So the biggest pain point in the last 9 years I've been here is paying a price away from my family, friends, or the place I was born was huge. I didn't want anyone else to leave the place where they belong. They can work for any company locally now. Okay, so they can work for any US company. That's where like I thought now I can help people bring their ideas into reality and have that freedom to work for a global company. So we started this brand. We've been working, it's been 4 months this brand is like actually launched. Previously, we were mostly working like as an agency. We are 41 people to date. Just hired one country manager for Israel yesterday.
Wow.
So the team is growing in last just 4 months. We are like, I think 1,000% up in terms of hiring. And also in terms of revenue, we are profitable from day one because of the 7 years of work that we did in terms of building the network in Israel and US. So yeah, it's an incredible journey, and we are helping companies bring their ideas into reality through hiring a talent which is not available locally. And also, again, a lot of entrepreneurs in the beginning of the journey don't have enough money or budget to hire a local employee, which will cost a lot. We actually help them hire, which reduces their 70% of the cost.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I personally love the fact that you saw this big issue, right? Not only your personal life, but also on other people's lives. And we're like, okay, how do we bridge the gap to where like you don't need to move, you can live in the place that you want to be, right? And still work in a competitive industry, in a company that maybe they dream of, that maybe in the past it was just very hard or very difficult or even impossible, right? For them to be a part of something like that. So just on that side, I have a ton of questions and I talk about comments as an entrepreneur. I'm curious, like, what's your background, right? Like, do you started other companies before this? Were you working somewhere and then you saw this gap in the market and you're like, let me go. And obviously the domain commitment, we got the domain commitment, right? We also we probably have a list of like 100 domains. No, we did not pay $750, but the belief, right? You're like, this is gonna be a thing, right? And then you created this amazing thing. Where did that come from?
So firstly, a domain cost is $750, not $150. Okay. So coming back to how I started my journey in Israel. So I was more into tech side of marketing, which is marketing automation.
Okay.
Worked with several different startups in Israel. Then also did side hustling, like, coming from 9 to 5 job and then doing consulting for marketing. And I think 7 years ago, I started my first company named Webzoli, which was more into marketing agency. And so we had like few clients, and one of the clients that said like, they want to hire a sales development person, but outsource to India, because in Israel, it was costing like $5,000 a month minimum that time for hiring a local representative. Whereas in India, I can give it to them for $1,000, right?
Yeah.
So it was like 1/4 of the price or even less. So that's how we got first customer. And then word of mouth, so we helped one person. He was part of the network and entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Israel. And we started growing in this in outsourcing space. I was not planning to have outsourcing as a business initially. I was still figuring out what to do. Because I hated the word agency. I don't know why, but agency was not something that I was interested in building. I wanted to build something which is more meaningful and solves bigger problem than just like, consulting. Yeah. But, automatically when you are up to something and your law of attraction is towards creating something big, automatically you see the path while you're walking. So that's what happened with us. But thank God, like, we had this journey which enabled us to create a brand which has customer from day one. Not all of the startups have this privilege. They struggle to make revenue for at least 2-3 years even, or sometimes they go bankrupt with just funding they have. So we have been privileged on that front.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm still a little curious. I love this story 100%. I'm still curious on the beginning of the first question was, what you think is kind of like the main thing that people should look when they're hiring talent, right? And I want to build up on that question because, obviously people might be listening to this and they might be asking themselves, well, but there's other platforms like, let's say, Upwork, Fiverr, etc., where you can go and hire, like, outsource some talent, right? And I know that for a fact that you guys pre-vet the people that come into your platform. So you must have a lot of experience on distinguishing what are the good things that people are looking for in talent and what makes somebody an A player, right? Somebody that's going to be a producer of change, of good inside of your business, rather than just an extra body in there that, yes, even though they can help, they might not push your company to new limits.
Before starting Insidia, I co-founded a startup called Teslify. It's still up and running, and it's still like, growing significantly in talent assessment space. Okay. when I was in this market, when I started outsourcing, and I personally faced this challenge, okay, to find a talent which is actually delivering international quality.
Yeah.
It was tough, okay? So we have this filtering process to make sure that they meet international standards, the level of English they speak, the communication they have, what kind of tools and technology they are capable of using, right? Whether they are proactive or versus reactive. People don't like to have reactive person. People like to have proactive person.
Yep. Yeah.
And this type of basic soft skills on top of what skills they are actually capable or hired for. This talent assessment is like 7-step process that we follow, including cybersecurity, because most of the companies that are concerned of hiring abroad, they're concerned of their data privacy and security, which is something that is number one on our list when it comes to like outsourcing. So all of this journey that I had for last 7 years helped me master those specific areas and fix it, right? One of the key factors that why they should hire from us versus Upwork or Fiverr. I'm not in a competition with Upwork or Fiverr. They have their own market. They are doing amazingly well. They are legends in this freelancing space. But we come where people are more serious and looking for dedicated resource, right? When I say dedicated, they can rely on that person for as if they are like working full time in a office together. He's available to you, or just he's like other side of the world, but he's available to you like for working hours. The simple math here is, think about people on Upwork who are freelancers. They are working with 10 different projects. They don't have quality or attention to one client. Their attention is divided, right? So quality is compromised. So what other freelancers do on Upwork is they get the job and they have one more person to do the job for them. So they are hiring a person, but there is somebody in the back end doing the job for them. The quality is not 100%, right? So the reliability is not there. When I say top 5% or 1% talent, this talent is somebody who wants job security, who wants a career path in one company. They want to grow in a company. They want to have, let's say they start with an executive, then they become manager, senior manager, director. They want to have a career path. Now, if we give an opportunity to work for them in an international company, for example, Slack or even Riverside FM, where we are recording, this opportunity will be like, give them job security. Again, dedication for employees and employer both side. And in this way, they are able to work long-term and be more productive. This is something different than other marketplace that you will see. At the end of the day, the top talent doesn't want to have a risk of losing a project and then start looking for another project. It's like having a business on its own, right? They want to have like, proper 9 to 5, and they want to have like a workplace where they can feel that they are growing and learning. But versus freelancer, it's more of whole other game. That's the biggest problem you're solving.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's, and you mentioned a lot of elements in there. And my mind went to, actually, about 3 episodes ago, we talked to Jamal Marshall. And he was talking, he helps people, he consults companies with kind of like middle management and helping them with the mental health as well of the people that are working in a company. And he said something that really stuck out. It was like, people don't realize that when they hire somebody, they're also like hiring their story, like their baggage. It's kind of like a relationship. When you enter into a relationship, they're bringing all that baggage with you. And what you were talking about here makes a lot of sense too. Like a lot of these freelancers, they have a lot of baggage, right? They have, their bandwidth is limited because they're working in other projects. And sometimes maybe the clarity is not right there when you start that communication with them. So the fact that you guys go super deep when bringing people into your platform, I think it's amazing because you're saving so much time and effort to the employer when looking for great talent.
Pratik, I think you mentioned something here that really resonated big time. When you go into these other marketplaces, right, and you might try to find this talent, maybe because you think that's the most affordable. And, we deal with a lot of entrepreneurs that are in their starting stages, especially in the publishing side, right? People that are starting to build their teams, maybe they're doing it themselves. And like, maybe because of the marketing of these other platforms, that's the first place that they go. But it might not be ideal, and they ended up losing a lot of time, a lot of money trying to teach these frameworks, trying to enroll this person, right? And then this person, what you mentioned was they're also involved in so many other projects, right? So the attention is not going to be there. The quality of the work gets compromised. And this is something that, when we first started hiring our team, we had no idea that was the thing that we we're going to face, right? So the fact that you guys are tackling that from the very beginning, obviously, we've been with our team for more than 2 years now, and it's been exciting because that's the one thing that they do, right? And now we can grow together. There's possibilities. We can start seeing new things. So when an entrepreneur, right, and specifically like in our market, right, in content creators, hosts, like different things, they're looking for editors, they're looking for designers, they're looking for this, right? And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of pitches on agencies too, and people outside. How can they recognize, like, apart from going to your platform, right? I think that's a shortcut that we need to mention here, and the links are right below if you're interested. But what are some things that they can recognize right from the very start, or things that they can ask to filter their talent, right, and find the right person?
Firstly, I would like to emphasize again, Fiverr, Upwork, or any other freelancing platform, they're amazing, but they have certain limitation, right? So you need to differentiate what kind of project that you want to achieve using outsourcing platforms. So, for example, you're designing a website and it's a one-time project. Upwork or Fiverr or any other platform is the best place to go because they will give you something which is cheaper, one-time project, and you're done, right? So it's a gig, one-timer. If you want to write a one piece of blog, specific topic, perfect. If you want to design a logo, perfect. But if you want to have a consistent growth in your business, if you want somebody to take care of your SEO ongoingly, right? If you want to take care of your performance marketing, if you want to take care of your specific development project ongoingly, who understands the whole business, sees the bigger picture than just focusing on one specific project, that's the difference between freelancing platform and remote hiring platform, which is Insidia. Yeah. And this is the biggest differentiator I would give. But there's one big thing that, I identified myself. I used to still sometimes my clients who are working with me, they still use Upwork, and I encourage them to still use it, right? Because some of the talent that you can find on Upwork, it's much easier and quicker to find, but for one-time project. But there's a big disadvantage comes with it is accountability and assurance, right? People don't care about money so much, but they care about the time they spend or waste on specific thing that they expected, but they didn't get delivered to. So although Upwork might give you refund after 20, 30 days of the work you weren't happy with, but you lose that important time. Yeah. So this is a biggest challenge that we asked, we did a survey for 200 people, and this was one of the reasons they didn't feel 100% confident that whatever something they were expecting, their ideas were not coming into reality. So we have a dedicated success manager that makes sure that the KPIs of customer are met with the KPIs of the talent who is delivering it. So in that way, we are solving that specific problem that market is facing.
Wow, that's incredible. And clear at this point for those listening, I mean, it's clear the difference. And I love that you have an abundance mindset, and I love it because I feel like it could be easier for people to say Upwork and Fiverr are your competition. I feel like that's kind of what I said at the beginning, right? And you're no, they're great and they serve a purpose, right? It's more kind of proprietary freelancer basis, right? And you're you want somebody that wants the career path, that wants to stick with you and grow inside of your company. And I think that's absolutely remarkable, right? To be able to find these people. And I'm curious now, how did you start? Because here on your website, it says about 50,000 pre-vetted people or network, right? And I'm that's a whole lot of people. how are you doing that? How are you building your network, right? And I want.
Sure.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I would like to jump. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So this part of community building is something that I learned from LinkedIn. So 5 years back, I was seeing that LinkedIn is something that is going to become a bigger platform than it was that time. And I jumped in, started creating content, have a database created from LinkedIn sessions that I was doing. We have 25,000 people signed up to the newsletter that they receive from us. Then we have a community of people who are looking for remote jobs. So we have an ATS platform. ATS platform is applicant tracking system, which when we open a position, there are resumes coming from that specific position, right? Then we have a vetting process. So there is automatically link going to the candidate. They have a test that they need to take. They record a 30-second video. They do a certain soft skill test, hard skill test, and then it comes to us. So all of this pre-vetting is done. And now let's say you come to me and you say, Pratik, I need a video editor. Okay. Boom, I'll go to list of people who are already pre-vetted, ready for you to start working. And I'll say, hey, I'll call, my HR will call 10 people. Out of 10, 3 will be interested in working tomorrow. You can interview them and get started. Right? So that's how the network is built pre-vettedly. Sometimes some of the important skills are takes time. Maybe time when I say it's 5 days to 7 days. But some of the easiest skill sets like digital marketing, development, or graphic design, can be found immediately. Data engineering, data analytics, or some of the special skills which are required might take some time for identifying the right talent.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love, all I hear is systems. You got your systems in place, your operations, nailed down. And for us personally, right, relating it back to content and what we do, it's about that. If you want to be efficient, right, for us, it's about how do we maximize the effort, create good quality content at volume as well. We needed systems. And at first, when we first started, we didn't have that. We actually just tried to, okay, let's just do it. And that just led to burnout. And I feel like that's the same way a lot of people approach this on when hiring a team is, let's just do it. And they go put a one-page application, and then they don't really vet, they don't take the time to vet the talent that is coming in. And then just like you said, now you're wasting time, you're wasting resources, because this person's going to come into your business. You're going to have to train them. You're going to have to dedicate a lot of time, right, to show them the way. And then if it's not the right set of person, right, maybe it's somebody that is not proactive, maybe somebody that likes communication, but you didn't have those steps set up in your process to hire this person. And then you just wasted all those resources and you have to start all over again.
So there's one more benefit to the companies working with us. When we pitch in, when we go for sales meetings, the trust is there because of the reputation that we have online. We are able to consistently create a presence and that is able to build trust. But there is one important thing that we say to our customers: come work with us. If you feel that after 1 month of work, we were not able to meet your expectation, we part ways and we won't charge you for anything because it's risk-free. That's the kind of confidence that we have in our vetting process that will enable them to build confidence from day one. Usually, employers are taking a risk when hiring a talent, right? Whether it may be local or outsourced, they're putting their money down. Whether they perform or not after 1 month, they still pay the salary and then waste their time. Even in US or Europe, HR laws are so strict. If you want to fire an employee, it is a tedious process in itself. So we take all of this stress away from you and have somebody start working with you risk-free, which is not something available in any other platforms that you go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great guarantee right there.
Yeah, I love it. I'm writing here different lessons of what you've said, right? On our side, how can we digest this and then go out and execute, right? And one of the things that maybe flew under the radar was you guys have built an incredible reputation online, right? And in today's world, if you have an online business or a physical business, right, it doesn't matter or a brick and mortar, right? you have to have this presence. It's almost a must today, right? Like I remember like our first gut-wrenching experience when we were pitching to, this is part of like our backstory where we're pitching to like 8 different business owners, and we had an amazing service with great results, right? But we had no presence whatsoever as a company online. We were freelancing at the time. And I remember that was one of the comments. It's like, well, I couldn't find anything. And even though it was like really positive and they were ready, and one of our previous clients was introducing it to them, they were in the room with us. We were not able to drive business after that meeting because of many reasons, but that was one that we remember the most, right? So how can entrepreneurs and people publishing today start building that reputation online? Like, what are some of the things that you guys did, maybe early stage or even now, that within your system, so to be able to do that?
Firstly, business is created with one single word, which is trust, right? Even though, like, let's say you invited me here because you trusted my online authority or the presence that I've created so far. That's why I got an opportunity to speak here, right? Similarly, in any business or meetings that I go to, definitely client or prospect is going to do some research about my brand or myself, even like, going to LinkedIn, checking out what I do. And that immediately, like, builds trust. Now, how to have this digital presence is something like, most of the agencies miss out on this important factor. I don't want to sound like, they're doing wrong, but they say that they are doing LinkedIn management. They say that they are expert at marketing. But if you go to their social media, 0 posts, or their post sucks, basically. So how do clients trust with their business giving to them, right? So firstly, any agency owners who are listening, they need to work on themselves first, online reputation-wise, so that customers will trust you. And we did it because I was more fascinated towards social media marketing. And I saw that it was going a big upward trend. And if you don't have a reputation in social media, it's game over. Your competition won't allow you to survive. Now, there is important factors that we took. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, you will see 50 plus testimonials from the customers I've worked so far on one-on-one level. Then if you go to our YouTube channel, you will see video testimonials from customers. If you go to our website, you will see written testimonials from customers. These are the proofs that people feel confident in terms of pursuing with you. Even like, if you go to website, take any website, they say featured on XYZ platform, featured on Forbes. Also, it's important to do PR, right? I'm part of this show. I received an award in Times of India, 40 under 40. All of these PR activities are crucial as well to build trust and brand reputation for yourself and the company. That will 10x your reputation online, and it will help you stand out from the crowd. There are several outsourcing companies out there. How do Insidia stand out? If you see Apple as a phone, it's a great, incredible product. Samsung is too incredible product. There are other companies as well, but how Apple is doing its marketing is a whole different game. That's why we love Apple. We want to have Apple, right? Or if you go to Tesla became like such a great product in itself because of its marketing and the personal brand that founder is having. So again, the marketing is changing its way towards like more of a personal branding and then company branding.
Yeah, I love that. And we share that all the time. We have actually interesting, funny story. Right when we first started the company, we were at this mastermind, and the guy talking, he says, every company needs to have an attractive character, because kind of like goes along the lines with what you were saying, right? Personal brand first, and then comes like the company. And we're like looking at each other, and we're like, well, there's 2 of us, and we ask him, can there be 2 attractive characters, right? Can it be both of us? And he actually said, but his answer at that time, and I'm not complaining, it's just what he knew at the moment and what he knew from his experience. But he said, I would only pick one. I would only go with one attractive character. And then we're like, oh, okay. And eventually we look at each other and we're like, you know what? We both enjoy doing the podcast. let's go at it. And what we kind of like discover is like, or two personalities create that one personality in a sense, right? It's like the two brothers with, that are loud and hype, all that stuff in the podcast. But that has played amazing because now when we go to events, people know us as the BIZBROS, right? The two of you. And if one is alone, they always ask, where's the other brother, right? Which,
so if you know, Google is known for their founders, Larry Page and Sergey.
Yeah.
It's because they were dynamic duos. So it's one of the biggest successful companies out there.
Yep.
I tend to disagree that there's one personality required.
Yep.
If you go to my website or there's a presentation that we share with the customer, this company is not just my vision, it's my wife as well. We came to Israel together. So the vision that we saw was together. So we have it on this one dedicated slide about power couple story that created this brand. So I say it's important. Like there's no right or wrong here. If you're telling a great story with even 3 people, it will be still successful.
yeah.
People just have to relate with it.
I think part of the lesson there too is like that we took was, we felt that doing this together was the right path, right? For some people, it might not be the right path, right? We've had to work really hard in our relationship as brothers, and as business partners, right? In the last 4 years, to be able to actually be here today. There's some days that, you just want to, snap the neck. No, I'm kidding. But there is true. There's like real work that happened. And I'm sure like you and your wife, you've had your moments right here and there. And now you share this amazing vision, and, maybe that's the thing that drives, right? And again, we don't have to go there, but for us, that's what really.
But there's the emotional story to it. I met my wife when I was 16. She's my first girlfriend, first date. And then since then we're together. Amazing. It's been over 16 years now.
Wow.
So more than a wife, I would say she's my best friend, right?
Yeah.
So when you find that connection, doesn't matter if it's with your brother, your sister, your wife, or anybody who you can think that person is your partner in crime, that will take you a long way. Or if I'm working 16 hours, 17 hours, and if she was other personality, normal wife, she would kill me of not giving her time.
Yeah, you would be in trouble, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, it was funny. Yesterday, I'm watching this show, and FONZI comes into the house, and they were you and Madison. Madison is FONZI's girlfriend, and they came out of golfing, whatever. And I'm watching this show, and then Madison's really good friends with my wife, Katie. So it's like, hey, where's Katie? I'm like, oh no, she's in our room. She's watching another show, and she was like, you guys watching a show like separate? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, we've been together since 2011, right? And we're okay with that decision. It's like, and guess what? We're also have the rest of our lives together. Like this is not gonna end, so we're gonna have another chance to watch a show together just today. And it's one of those things that you were like, okay, I'm okay with who I'm, and obviously we're talking about personal relationships now, but in the business sense, it's the same thing. Like, are we developing the right relationships for our business? Is it long term, like you mentioned earlier, right? Full circle to that. Are you bringing people that want to be part of your vision, that want to be building that vision with you, that want a career path? And I think that's super important. And we can apply that to like, okay, if we come into the table with that vision as an entrepreneur or as a business owner, as a CEO, that we want to build this long thing, right? We know exactly what we want. It's going to be probably a little bit easier to make the decision on the person that you want on your team versus if you're confused or you just work in project after project.
Yeah, I think there's also another lesson in there, which is not like a cookie cutter process, right? Like it looks different for everybody, right? There's a different how for everybody on how to do things. And I'm not just talking, again, about relationships. I'm bringing this back to business. Like it's going to look different for everybody, whether you're developing that attractive character, like you said, or whether you're building a team. That process itself might look a little bit different from one person to the other.
One of the important things that I feel when I'm hiring, okay, so there is one filter that everyone has to go through is my interview before he even reaches client. Even though HR is involved, assessment is involved, everything is there. But if they're working with Insidia and they're going to work with my customers, I have 10 minutes call with them before even we are serious of signing an offer letter with them.
Wow.
The reason why we have this filtering is I look for one thing in that interview, whether that person is a cultural fit or not, whether that person is customer obsessed or not. I'm a big fan of thinking of Jeff Bezos. He says customer obsession is everything, right? When you think in that direction, and you will never have churn or minimal churn, because at the end of the day, every business is successful based on sustainable MRR, which is recurring revenue that they are going to make from the customer. If you're customer obsessed and you are giving the value that he's looking for, and you have that right mindset of adding value to his business, your business will thrive 100x in no time. But that mindset is something that I look for in any person that I hire. And also, while they're onboarding with us, so we have onboarding sequence that goes out to all the team members that are working with us, right? The customer obsession, cultural proactiveness is being embedded in them, so that whenever they are on field, they believe in what vision we are trying to create for the company. So this is some of the important stuff that helps us create that remote work culture, which is sometimes hard to work with when you are not meeting in person.
Yeah.
But some of the important things that we take care of enables us to work effectively.
That's awesome.
So good. So many lessons and so many things. We're gonna have to do like a whole other video debriefing this episode, because team is something, obviously we're focusing on content and this on our own business, but team was a really big milestone for us when we first started with the podcast. Especially, we were coming from freelancing, and that was to me personally was a really stressful time where we were like, okay, we need to bring another person in the team, and we ended up getting, how it worked for us, we ended up getting somebody that we thought it was one person. And this is like total horror story when it comes to hiring. We thought we were hiring one person, and this person comes on, and it turns out that he has a whole agency behind him. So he's jumping on these calls. We were thinking that we're dealing with him, and he was delegating all the work to his own workers overseas. So we had like no access to this. And how we found this out was one of their employees reached out to us directly. Yep. And this whole few months of not knowing what to do, how to tackle this, it was really challenging because we're very pressed for money. We had no monetary options to like, hey, okay, we leave these guys now and then we find somebody else. Like, we had client work that we had to do. We were doing some of the work. We were side hustling and it was like just really stressful time that really, we haven't really told that story openly before. I think this is the first time that we actually share something like this, but that led to the amazing team that we have now. Right. And we've been with them for 2 years, and it's been an amazing relationship with trust, because we were like, okay, we need to open cameras. We need to see, we need to talk to you guys. We need to vet, we need to like learn more about you guys. And I think that marked as like a moment in our entrepreneurial life it changes forever. Right. And I think this is avoidable for other entrepreneurs because it was like a really stressful 6 months that we had to go through all of this. And I think people like you and companies like you provide this amazing solution full of trust, transparency, that people can, lean on. And I think that that's amazing. So, Pratik, thank you, man, for sharing all your knowledge, your story, your company.
Can I add something here?
Absolutely.
One of the important things that I do is I invite customers to our all hands meeting. So every other week, we have one customer coming and meeting the team, everyone together in one place. And they have like 10 minutes to give a speech on some specific topic that they are like good at, right? What happens is they see the vibe and the culture and the trust. It enables them to build trust and become an evangelist, okay? And they are proudly recommending Insidia to other team members. This is something very crucial. The experience that you had was like a bad one. Would you ever recommend that specific agency where you were working to someone?
Never. They're canceled.
No. And answer is no. And the happy customer, or like a happy customer is not dangerous, but one negative customer review can hurt 100 customers, right? So we have to be very careful in terms of like how we are dealing with customers. But thank you for sharing that story.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. It was a nightmare that time.
We should actually do a full episode on that. I don't know if Fonzie you're ready to share, but who knows. But Pratik, as we wrap up, the show, what's something that entrepreneurs, like, we work specifically with entrepreneurs that might be handling their publishing on their own, right? They're about to, go and hire their first person. Obviously, we do provide a service. So for those listening, we plugged it in the past, right? That fractional content team. So we just like Pratik, right? We're fully open. We show processes. We show everything. But for somebody that's looking for that solution, what's something that they can do today, apart from going to your website that's right below in the notes, right? To get that process going, like, what are some of the things that they can start looking into to make that big step?
Simple step is like, firstly identifying what is something they're looking for. Just reaching out to our website and understanding there are filters. They can choose whether they want specific service, right? Once they just fill out this form, they can just book a demo call directly with sales representative. And there are a lot of leads coming directly from my LinkedIn profile. So I'm also like kind of a salesperson going directly to my connections or network that I have. So again, it's about, first is like 15 minutes of discovery call and understanding what is your actual requirement. We take all of the details. We immediately work with our internal team to get you few resumes to get started with. And once you say that, okay, these are the good people that we feel confident with. Usually what we give to customers are, we know what our customer would like. So we vet them already. So the next step would be like meeting them with video call and seeing if there is a repo in them and getting started.
Awesome. I love, identify what you're looking for. Sometimes that you are actually looking for something, but you don't really know exactly what you are looking for. And doing that exercise of taking a few minutes and really write out, what are the things that we want to do this. And I think that was something that helped us at the very beginning.
One of the important stuff that a lot of clients come to me for, let's say, digital marketing. Now, digital marketing is a very broad topic. Content creation. So if you have full stack marketer, he won't be good at everything, which is like 100 out of 100, right? So if you want to hire a specific content writer, then they said like, Pratik, I want content, I want social media, I want SEO. They want everything in like one place. So we have also like, came up with full stack marketing solution that will enable like, give them 8 hours of time with 2 hours with each expert every day. So they can divide like, 4 experts in one package and still like, keep the ball rolling in one department, marketing, which they want.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
Fonzie, anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to add the last question, which is, where would you be if you didn't publish, if you wouldn't have put your message out into the world?
I think I would be somewhere at the same place because my vision was clear from day one. When I was growing up, my father is a businessman, and he taught me one thing. Always like my mindset was entrepreneurial because of him. And the vision that I wanted was to learn from the companies that I work with and create something meaningful of my own. Yeah. Although he's more into like, physical products, but my entrepreneurship journey started on tech side of things because I was fascinated more on technology. Yeah. So I feel even though I was not able to have that brand or message that I put now, there's one thing that I've learned in marketing is to stand out. So whether I create content or not, I will figure out a way to stand out.
Yes.
That's awesome. I love it. I love the clarity and the drive that you have. And I'm curious, random question, but what does your dad do? What type of entrepreneur is he?
So he owns a spice business for last 40 years now.
Wow.
He's around 65 plus and still like, running the show.
That's
So
awesome.
inspired by his hard work. Still, the way he works is incredible.
Yeah.
Every day when we speak, I feel super inspired. So when you have a person who you admire,
Yeah.
that gives you like a really emotional boost.
Yeah, sounds like somebody with a great work ethic and a great example to have. I'm just curious, why haven't you tried to take that, the Spy Shop into a global e-commerce brand? Since you're, the technology guy.
My father wanted me to, honestly, but he also said that you should do what you are passionate about, not something that I like.
Yeah.
So he didn't ever force me to do this thing, but I still helped him initially when I was young in his business, even my mom's business. Mom was having a jewelry store in Mumbai. So I was like kind of taking part in both places.
Yeah.
But I was passionate for something else. I liked stuff which was more digital. So yeah.
That's awesome. What a good story.
Yeah, Pratik, thank you, man, for coming on the show and sharing your stories, sharing your lessons, your background, the affirmation wall. Oh, that's good. That has to become a thing. And is there anything else that you want to add before we head out?
Yes. Firstly, you guys are like dynamic duos, and I feel that you are creating a brand for yourself. Literally, one of the best podcast beginnings I had, and also the other part was amazing too. But the energy that you guys bring was incredible. So thank you so much for having me here. And if there's anything that I can do to help you guys or anybody who's listening, I'm just a message away. I respond to each and every LinkedIn messages that I get. So feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to leave the links down below in the description. So make sure you guys connect with Pratik. And also go and check out his website, insidia.com. I'm gonna look it up so I make sure I'm spelling it correctly. INSIDEA.com. And if you're interested, right, in getting an A player on your team, go through them, do the whole click on the top right where it says hire top talent, get in contact with them, jump on a call, and go through their process. Because after you heard this podcast, I'm sure you're excited to get some cool, awesome team players that are going to help you take your business to the next level.
Pratik, we gotta make our way to Israel and go visit and maybe do a live episode over there. We've never been, we'd love to. So I've just invited ourselves.
I would love to invite you. Personally, be your tour guide in Israel. I already mentioned to you guys before, but the offer is valid. You can come anytime. I'll arrange everything for you guys.
Thank you, Pratik. Really appreciate it.
We just need to have a date in mind. That's it.
Yes, that's true. We also need to figure out our passports because we're Venezuelans in the United States. We're in the middle of the whole process. So we're legal, just so you know, for the record, we are legal. So you gotta put.
Yeah, we're gonna get in trouble. We're gonna get SWAT coming into the house.
Anyways, Pratik, again, it was a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for coming to the show. And with that, thank you for coming to the Content's Profit Podcast. Go ahead and follow your favorite platform, or go ahead and follow the podcast in your favorite platform and on social media at BIZBROS.
That is Brandon Pratik here, help you move one step closer to achieving an A+ team. Please don't forget to share this episode and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.